Good morning, everybody. So today on our journey through figurative language, we're going to continue with SOL 6.5H, in which you will be able to identify and analyze the author's use of figurative language. Today, we're going to talk about personification. We're going to learn why authors use figurative language. We'll again look at those 7 different types of figurative language, but we're going to focus today on personification, which is a pretty cool thing that authors do in their writing. Okay, so as we looked at before, we've talked about before alliteration. Alliteration is when all of the words have the beginning sounds the same. The sappy salamander, right? The crusty cracker. Hyperbole is when you exaggerate something. I was so hungry I could eat a horse. An idiom is an expression that's kind of used in a particular language, which its real literal meaning has nothing to do with what its figurative meaning is. Like, go break a leg. Like, you don't actually want that person to break a leg, but it's a saying that we use regularly. We're going to go over metaphor tomorrow. Onomatopoeia, those are the words like bang, zap. And so today, again, we're going to focus on personification. And tomorrow we will work on similes as well. Okay, so personification is language in which human qualities are attributed to an animal, object, or idea. So we make them human, even though they're not human. What do I mean by this? So let's look at this first sentence here, right? The snowdrops nodded their head in the breeze. It's a very poetic sentence, very nice. So what in this sentence sounds like it's a human? It's the snowdrops, because they use the word nodded their heads, right? Like nodded their heads. The snowdrops really nod their heads. Snowdrops don't have heads. So there you go. So what is being personified here is the snowdrops. And what was used was the terminology nodded their head, because that's something that humans do. All right, let's look at the next one. The car's headlights glared at me in the dark night. All right, so what's being personified here? What are we making sound human here? It's the car's headlights. We know this because we use the word glare. How many of you have ever glared at somebody? So that's a word that we typically use with a human. A human glares at people or objects. So the car's headlights glare. So what was being personified is the headlights. And the word or phrase that's being used in personification is glare. All right, next one. The sun smiled down on the sunbathers. What's being personified? The sun is being personified because it is smiling. Suns, although when I draw my suns, I do like to give them a little smiley face like what we have right here. But that's what's being personified because we're using the word smile. The thunder roared angrily in the dark sky. The thunder is being personified with the word or phrase, roar angrily. Because can thunder be angry? Sounds angry to us, but it itself cannot be angry. So then, again, we're making it seem human, even though it's just an object. All right, so now we're going to make our own. We're going to use the images below to write some sentences containing personification. All right, so our example here is an alarm clock. The alarm clock screamed at me to wake up. I mean, there's nothing much worse than not feeling that. Okay, so the alarm clock is screaming. That's a word we typically use with humans. So let's use the idea of tree here. So when I talk about tree, I am going to say that the tree, let's see, the tree taunts. It's so big, it's taunting me. And then my main sentence is, let's see, the tree taunted us with its heart. Right, so it's so big that made me feel a little unsure. All right, how about roller coaster? What's a word that we can think of that a roller coaster might convey, right? I don't like roller coasters personally. Maybe you really like them. A lot of people do. So how about screams? Right, just like the first one. So the roller coaster screamed excitement. The roller coaster screamed in excitement. How about waterfall? I think waterfalls are particularly beautiful. And here, hold on. There we go. Erase everything that I've done before. All right, so the waterfall. Waterfall, and because we're going to use alliteration, how about it whispers? The waterfall whispers. Waterfall whispers. Secrets. All right. So again, we're making the waterfall sound like it has human qualities. No secrets and it's whispering. All right, I want you to do the next two on your own. All right, so back here. So leaves and clouds. Can you think of two sentences that uses personification? If you want to get fun, you can try to pack an alliteration like we did before with the waterfall whispering. So I'm going to give you a minute to do that, 2 minutes to do that. All right, so we're going to do just a little bit of extra practice here with this. Number one, as Vince attempted to park in the crowded lot, his truck kissed the bumper of an Impala, which is a type of car, if you didn't know that. So what of those words in there makes it seem like a human quality? Vince attempting to park in the crowded lot, his truck kissed the bumper. That's it right there, kissed the bumper. So the truck is being personified using the word kissing. All right, the crops begged for water, but the drought continued long into the summer months. Have you ever begged for anything? Joy, some candy, right? So that's a human quality that you have. And here it's the crops that are begging for water. So again, the crops are being personified through the use of begging. The moon shone on the still waters of the lake, and the lonely pier rotted in the seaweed. This one's a little bit more difficult, but this is not a verb that's being used, it's an adjective. So, lonely pier. When you think of the word lonely, you think of an emotion, right? And because it's a pier, it doesn't have any emotion, it's an object. So this makes it seem like the pier is feeling a sense of loneliness here. Because if it was, we just wanted to talk about a singular pier, we would say the lone pier, meaning it was only one. But by using lonely, you can say that it's an only pier, like one pier, but it also has an emotion attached to it, which makes the sentence have a lot more spice to it. All right, number 4, when Michael made a shot without hitting the rim, the net shushed his rivals. All right, so the net is being personified here by the use of shush, which librarians and teachers do to us all the time, right? Shushed his rivals. And the last one, Bobby couldn't take his mind off of chess. The game spoke to him night and day. So the game is being personified here by using the word spoke to him. Like often when our passions, we have passions like, oh, I just want to take photographs, that speaks to me. So I think you get the idea, right, of personification, taking an idea or object and giving it some human traits. So I will see you tomorrow, in which we are going to talk about metaphors and similes, the last of our figurative language.